Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. And we're talking about The Amazing Race, which is a bit frustrating.
Double episode!
Yes.
Wait,
we're starting high. Yes, double episode, 2 hours. But I'm not particularly thrilled with how this ends up.
I'm a bit salty.
But we're off to Dubai at the beginning of the first episode, okay? And so it's land of like wealth and just like excess,
beautiful,
right?
Beautiful. Guess what? All on the same flight.
Yeah, right. Level playing field again. They want those photo finishes this season, apparently.
Okay, let's mix it up a smidge. Amazing Race.
Yeah.
Is it just me? I love seeing people not make it on that first flight. There's two flights, and you don't make it on that first flight.
Right.
And that second batch has to like really scramble.
Right. And like sometimes they're like really epic comebacks with people who aren't on that first flight. You know, they sometimes make up that time and it's unbelievable, but everyone's just level playing field.
I'm really missing that.
Yeah.
I mean, all on the same flight is exciting, but you have to mix it up.
Week after week.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we go to Dubai, and this first thing they have to like go out in the middle of the desert with all these fancy cars and like eat some dates and have some tea.
Drink some tea.
Yes.
There was a huge group. It was almost everybody there at first. So they're like, okay, car, go get their clue, and they're off. Then we see Vicole just like sitting there by themselves. Like, what do we do? Oh, car. Okay.
Yeah, right. And then like Team Fun is there by themselves. But it's mostly like at the beginning of this, like it's like a big taxi race. Like whoever's taxi is faster gets you there faster. So once they get away from this car situation, they have to go to the Dubai frame, and that's where we start to see a little separation in the pack. Specifically, the Riley sisters' taxi driver is struggling.
That driver did not know where they were going or how to get off the exit for the frame.
Rachel was very frustrated.
Sends Rachel quite down the path of this is a race and we're about to be eliminated.
Yes, right. She's doing hard eye rolls to camera, like not happy about that. And the taxi driver's trying to stay calm, trying to just find out where to go.
Right. And Alyssa also is trying to stay calm. Like, we just need to get there. We just need to get there.
Right.
Let's not freak out yet. But that starts them on a difficult path.
Yes.
We see the Afghanimals, Colin and Christy, Chris and Brett get to this frame first, and we learn we have a detour.
Right. Fall or find.
Yes.
So
this fall sounds
like a bungee jump situation.
One thing. It turns out to be a totally different thing.
And find is just one of those things where you can anticipate a lot of running.
You're gonna run around looking for something, but then you're done, basically.
Yes. Right.
They also allude to this falling. Only 2 people can jump at one time. So you automatically know I could be stuck in a line.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of people opt to go the find route. Like after the first few teams.
So the first couple feel comfortable. Like,
Afghanimals, Afghanimals, Colin and Christy and Tycor decide to do the jump. But then everyone else decides like, we know there's a limit on how many people can jump, let's do the find.
Yes.
The Riley sisters again are sort of towards the end of the pack, the back of the pack.
And they're already frustrated.
Yes, they're already angry.
So they run to the find. First instinct.
But once they get to the find, they see all these other teams, and Rachel says, we gotta switch because there's only 3 other teams at the jump thing, and by the time we get there, they're gonna be done jumping, and we jump and we're done and it's quick and let's go.
Okay, we've seen Rachel do this before. Freak out.
Right.
She gets stressful. She like goes from now to worst case scenario very, very quickly.
Right.
And Alyssa's like, no, we're here. And she's like, no, everybody's here. By the time we get to the fall thing, they'll be done jumping. We'll be right there. On one hand, it kind of makes sense what she's saying, but on the other hand, don't change unless it is worst case scenario.
Because if you're with all these other teams at the find situation, you at least know where you are.
Yes.
You know where your competitors
are. You're in the pack.
If you leave and go to jump and all the other teams are done with jump, now all of a sudden you're by yourself.
And you don't know.
And you don't know where you stand. So it's a very difficult decision, but Rachel is like very adamant, and they end up switching. I also feel like out of all these variables of things you do and do not know, one thing you do know is that your cab driver is not great. Yeah. You've already gotten lost. Like the thought of getting back in your car with that driver and to go to another location. I thought this was just a horrible idea, but at this point, I'm so frustrated that I was like, fine. You deserve it. Yeah, go. So we go and we see it fall. Afghanimals, Colin and Christy up first, and they realize this ain't what we thought it was. It is not a bungee jump, it's a virtual reality and then a quiz situation. Yes. And they do not have all this information. No, because they make it seem like, oh, you're gonna pick someone who's gonna train you how to do this jump, right? Like, it's very tricky all the way up. It's really like a last minute surprise that it's even a virtual reality thing. So these are not like bungee jump instructors. They're just people who are going to hand you a clipboard with a quiz at the end of it, right?
So they obviously are going to go through this the first time, be handed this test, and then be like, oh wait, we didn't know all of these answers.
We were not paying attention.
So guess what? You have to go to the back of the line and do it again.
And this is where the 2 teams at once thing comes into play, because you have to wait until some team takes a quiz and passes or fails, you know.
And we should say that Ty-Cor is waiting in line to be 3rd, and then eventually the Riley sisters show up, but the Afghanimals have already missed and have gone to the back. Then the Riley sisters show up and they're like, oh, this is different.
Yeah, they're like, is it a jump? Like, what's happening? So they're sort of like realizing, oh, this is not what we thought it was.
Back at the find.
This is hilarious. They're in these giant inflatable T-Rex costumes that have been in so many viral videos. Yes. They're just so funny to watch.
Yeah, because just walking and running in these things is hilarious.
It's hysterical.
And then you're like, where is it? And you can't see, and you're like,
the T-Rex head is like flopping over, and it's getting in Brittany's face, and Brittany's already struggling because she's like, I am not an Olympic runner, okay? Like,
Janelle's like, can you run? She's like, no, I can't. We're literally in a race, Brittany.
Yes. They're slowly but surely finding these different colored eggs and, you know, collecting them into their nests. Except Janelle and Brittany didn't know that you were supposed to, like, put them all into a nest.
They're like, can we show? No. Oh, wrong place. Thankfully, Nicole was like, no, it's over there.
Yeah, right.
So they eventually get to that.
But at the dino situation, Chris and Brett are the first team out, and that's out of either side of the detour. So Chris and Brett, Survivor guys, are in the lead now.
They're in the lead now. Yeah. Out second is Cullen and Christy. It takes them a second time at the fall to get all the test answers right. Yeah. So they're out second.
Yeah.
It takes Afghanimals
many times.
5 times.
Yeah.
To do this. Because they did not understand the question completely.
Yeah.
They were answering it incorrectly and then going the wrong way because they were thinking of something
Because they convinced themselves that this like antenna situation was a different part of the virtual reality experience, so they just kept missing over and over again.
Right, so and even though one of them had it correct the very first time, they're convincing themselves and talking themselves out of it and going the wrong way. So eventually they figure it out.
Right, but this has given the Riley sisters a chance to catch up, so they're not that far behind getting out of the detour.
It takes them a few times, and we must say that this is when we see Rachel be like, come on, Alyssa, really focus.
Yeah, focus on everything. Meanwhile, she's the one who has the wrong answer on the quiz.
Yeah, Alyssa's like, I'm pretty sure I'm focusing. But never once is it Rachel like, we got this, we got this. She's just like, you.
Alyssa, do it right, even though Alyssa's doing it right. Well, then the roadblock is very fun. It's the silent rave.
What is a silent rave?
Who can feel the beat?
Oh my gosh. Like, I'm like, this would be fun to do, but I have to trust that you have beat or rhythm.
You have any kind of rhythm? Yeah, you're trusting these people who are dancing in this club.
That they're like in it.
That they're actually dancing to a beat.
Right. So Chris and Brett show up here first, and like, this is just not their thing.
Brett's not great at it, no. But you know who's good at it? Team Fun. Mr. Drum Major.
Drum Major. Yes. He's like, I got a beat. I can tell if you feel that beat. We got this together.
Right, yeah.
And he did.
He did. He's out first. This is made for Floyd. Yes. Like, this is his challenge.
And also, when you just go into a challenge, like, hyped for it, where you're like, yes, I feel like you do better, right?
Yeah, right.
Brett walks in there, he's like, I don't know.
Well, I don't know
and then
he's
like, oh, you? You know?
You want to try it? Yeah. So then it was also nice to see Nicole doing this, right? Because Victor has kind of been carrying their team, but she did the silent rave and she gets out second.
Yes.
Ty-Cor is third.
So now we're going to this zip line, which is the last thing before the pit stop.
Which is, I can't. I would never do this.
What? It looked so amazing.
No, it looked horrifying.
It would be so incredible.
I do not do heights. I would not be good at this show.
Team Fun gets there first.
Yes.
They run into the little elevator lobby. They hit that button. Ooh. Chris and Brett.
Right behind
them as the elevator door opens.
Yeah.
So technically Chris and Brett get into that elevator first.
Because Team Fun is like overshot it.
Right. They're kind of like, what, in the middle-ish?
Yeah.
I love that Becca like darts in there and she's like, sorry, we're first today,
She's like,
buddy.
love you guys, but no. We are going to be first. And the Survivor guys were nice enough to be like, go ahead.
Cool about it. They hugged it out.
Yes.
Let Team Fun go down that zip line first. To get to the pit stop first.
Right.
I loved that moment. I thought, like, not worth fighting over.
Right. You're all still in the race at this point. You know you just have to do the zip line.
Yes,
and, like,
and Team Fun technically was there
legitimately there first. Fair's fair, right? Like, it was good to see like, don't be petty at that point.
Right.
So, Team Fun is first on this leg.
And then, honestly, Chris and Brett get second. That's fantastic for
Huge.
them.
Apparently they're showing up like they were talking about We Get It at the beginning of the episode. They get it.
All right, maybe they do. Yeah. They did really well this whole leg.
Yeah.
So now we just start to see the teams coming through the zip line and getting at the pit stop.
It's all kind of back to back to back.
Colin and Christy are third. Tycor is fourth. Vicola is fifth, which is kind of a little bit back. It's all right. A top five is still all right for Vicola.
Yeah.
Then Janelle and Brittany.
Right. And now this whole episode has sort of been centered around the Afghanimals kept failing at the VR, which let the Riley sisters catch up. So it's sort of like who's going to finish first out of these two.
But we see the Afghanimals leave the rave first.
Yes.
So we're pretty sure the Riley sisters are in the back.
Right.
So.
And Rachel's already
that
emotional.
car ride to the zip line. They've lost. She's already defeated.
I love The Amazing Race so much, and like I've come on it so many times, and Alyssa's like, stop. Like, Rachel.
At this point in the car, I was like, Alyssa is all of us.
Yeah.
Because just simmer down for a second, Rachel.
Right.
Like, you haven't, again, she goes from now to the worst case scenario, like this.
Very much a pessimist, which is like, okay, you know, like I'm not judging her for that, but it's just like, oh,
but
can you just relax?
Let's
like,
get there first.
Yeah.
So the car ride there is awful. They go through the zip line. They are the last on the mat.
Yeah.
We see the Afghanimals check in already.
Yep.
Feels like the emotion.
Oh, wow.
Rachel's like, this is just so important. Alyssa's like, this is my dream. I'm so glad to have been here with my sister.
Phil looks like he's getting teary-eyed.
He does. He looks like he's tearing up as well.
Yeah.
Non-elimination.
So over it. Like, why? This is leg 5. We already had a non-elimination in leg 3. Why back to back like this? Like,
you guys, so salty. I am convinced this was a last minute change.
Okay.
At the moment, producers scrambled and said, it's Rachel Riley, you guys. We can't lose her. Let's just make this a non-elimination. That's my guess.
Well, and I just don't see why. From a producing standpoint, why would you pre-plan to have 2 non-elimination legs in the first 5 legs of the race?
You guys, it just doesn't make sense. I just can't imagine producers sitting back and being like, you know what, we should do it 3 and 5. And then never again?
Yeah.
Or is every other one going to be a non-elimination? I doubt that.
I doubt it.
Those of you who are about to argue with me and say, but it was a 2 episode, and so they were going to not eliminate. No. So first off, this happened about a year ago. These people went on a race.
Yeah.
CBS never gave them a start date until eventually they gave them a May start date. Then they were bumped up because that other show failed.
Yeah, right.
And they got an earlier start date. So there is no way that they knew their schedule was going to be these 2 episodes back to back.
Right. And I feel like it would be a different story if this were a you're still racing leg, right? Like it's not a check-in, it's not a pit stop formally. You're going to the next location, you're still in the race. That's a different thing than having another non-elimination leg so early in the race. It's kind of like, why? Like, I don't need it.
Look, Rachel Riley is an icon in these shows.
Yes.
I get it. We've watched her for seasons and seasons. It would have been hard to lose her this early. This is kind of early for her.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be really, really good at this.
Yes, right.
So make us mourn the loss of her so early.
Yeah.
That would have hit the fandom, don't you think?
Yeah.
If we lost the Rileys at leg 5.
That's kind of huge.
We would have been like, dang.
Wow.
But no, they were like, no, we can't do it. We can't lose the Rileys.
Okay, well, it just feels like they maybe are treating these 2 sisters a little differently than they might treat another team.
I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. I don't. But that is my takeaway. I just didn't think it felt natural and organic.
Yeah, right.
Here we are.
Here we are. Episode 2.
Okay. Now we're going to
Uganda. Okay, well, not everyone's happy to be going to Uganda.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one for some people.
Tyler and Corey are emotional because the LGBT rights in Uganda are not great.
Not great.
Compared to other places in the world.
And it was really touching to see it hit Corey.
Yeah.
I have to imagine he was like, I'm never going there. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, whoops, I'm going there.
And honestly, I'm sure they were scared a little bit because you just never know what's going to happen. And they're thinking...
Seeing Colin hug him and other people give him support was really nice to see. And they're both positive people, so by the time they get there, they're in the car and they're like, you know, we're just gonna put out the positive energy and, you know, try to make the
best of it.
Right.
Make the best of a bad situation.
And they did!
Yeah.
All right. Let's go through it step by step.
Right. So they have to go to this mosque first, and they get a clue, well, some of them get a clue, that sends them up to the top of the minaret.
And says, count the steps.
Count the steps. Chris and Brett just go to the top of the minaret. They don't even have their clue yet.
Sure, why not? Just run up those stairs.
So they don't know that they need to count the steps. When they get to the top, the guy's like, how many steps? And they're like, what are you talking about?
Why don't you go down and find that clue box and let's start this again. Tyler and Corey are right behind them, and they thought they had done a genius thing by Googling this ahead of time.
We've done research. Now, I don't fully understand this. Like, do they know where they're going before they go on the race?
No, but they could have used, like, their cab driver's phone. Like, when you know you're going to this location, you can start just looking it up if you borrow somebody's phone. Which they didn't show us that, but I bet that's what they did.
Right. So they're like, we already know the number of steps. We don't even need to count. So they run up, but they do the wrong number of steps because it's like between two marks that you're supposed to count the steps.
Guys.
Which they weren't paying attention to.
Why wouldn't you also count?
As a backup.
And just have two numbers and be like, oh, they match up, or they don't. Just to know.
Yeah.
All right, so finally, Vicole gets up there.
Yeah.
And they've actually counted the steps.
They've actually done it, and they get it right.
Colin and Chrissy are right behind them.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Somebody knows what's happening.
Now, Janelle and Brittany are not doing well with the taxi situation in Uganda.
Oh dear, they are straight stuck in traffic.
Falling behind. So I think in the back of the pack, there's the Riley sisters. They have trouble with counting. More sibling rivalry and bickering, and Rachel not trusting Alyssa on the number of stairs. We see that.
We finally do see... I mean, Alyssa doesn't really hold her ground with Rachel and say, like, trust me. But she's like, are you sure? I think it's 272.
Yeah.
Rachel's like, 270. She's like, are you sure? Luckily, to the point that Rachel changed her mind and listened to Alyssa, so they do finally get it.
And then I think it's Team Fun after them. They arrive and they're like, okay, Janelle and Brittany are still after us, and they kind of get through the minaret thing, but Janelle and Brittany are already struggling this leg of the race and just behind because of the traffic. The traffic's crazy.
It'll get you sometimes. After the stairs, we got a roadblock at this big marketplace.
Oh, huge market.
Which is so stressful.
Yes.
Those places stress me out.
And this one has like 300,000 patrons a day or something, it said, and it's like several football fields. Craziness.
I heard 20. That can't be right? Oh my gosh.
Well, they have to make a Rolex, which is a sandwich.
It's a sandwich.
It's not a watch. It's not a watch.
Victor gets in there real quick.
Yeah.
Cooks it up, gets them out of there.
Right. Corey's great at the sandwich.
Right behind him. Afghanimals has to do it one more time.
Right.
Whatever.
But people are mostly seeing the sign that says Rolex, and it's on a lot of signs in the market, and everybody's kind of seeing it and doing it, and it's not a problem.
And it's not like far off from where you are.
It's right there.
Okay, let's just break this down. Janelle and Brittany get there. They are, you know, in the back of the pack, so they don't see a ton of teams.
Right.
Janelle and Brittany open the card and they read it, and Brittany goes,
you should do it.
And Janelle's like, huh?
Again? Are you
Janelle
sure?
just did 1,000 things back to back. Yeah. And so her face literally said, really? And Brittany was like, don't you think?
Yeah. Janelle's like, okay.
Fine.
She has a good attitude about it. Like, don't argue and hold yourself up anymore because you already know you're in the back. But come on, Brittany.
And Janelle will be like, sure, I will power through everything.
Right.
Rick, really? Janelle has to go back to back to back to back?
Come on. Yes. And the other frustrating thing is I think... Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Janelle and Brittany actually showed up to the market before the Rileys. Did they not?
Yes. So we see this interaction happen.
Yeah.
And then Janelle proceeds to be confused. Like, this is just one of those little things that you just don't get it from the clue. You don't see it. Those markets are very overwhelming. She has run off
all over the place
and is looking for literal watches.
And she's not seeing any other teams, right? I think one of the advantages to these other teams is they were all making the sandwiches together.
You see them. They're right there making sandwiches. Yeah. So she's running around looking for the wrong thing. So meanwhile, the Rileys have shown up, found out they have to do a speed bump, washed some clothes.
Do some laundry.
Then they go.
They make the sandwich.
They make the sandwich.
And Janelle is still running around looking for a watch. She's like Rolex, holding up watches. Like, I'm looking for this. And of course everybody's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
And she goes back.
Sense. She eventually goes back.
Well, and Brittany knows she can't help. But Janelle's like, I can't find it. And Brittany's like, well, I can't say anything. And Janelle wanders off and Brittany's like, it's right there on all of these signs. Gosh. It says Rolex.
So the one time that Brittany could have done this, she actually does seem like she gets it.
Yeah.
Because for a minute I was like, well, maybe Brittany wouldn't have figured it out either. I don't know. But no, she saw it.
She saw it. So...
Oh, this was when I start to just like die inside.
Oh my God, yes, because they were already behind. We're rooting for them and now they're just falling more behind. Meanwhile, the other teams are going to a detour, right?
Salty roll or move the pole.
Yes, so you got to do the fish or do, transport this wood. It's muddy, it's raining, it's difficult, but most people are choosing this wood situation and it's just stacking and it's, just a matter of like, get it done.
Right.
Tyler and Corey finish first, right?
Yes, Colin and Christy are right behind them.
Yeah.
And then finally we see Janelle. But again, this is editing. I can't tell how long it's been.
I can't tell. I don't know.
But we see people get through the stacking of the wood to reveal we have a head-to-head.
At this point, we know that like maybe there's a chance that Janelle and Brittany can catch up.
Because I have died a little inside. Right. Janelle is breaking my heart. And now I'm like, well, they have to wait for her. Right. She gets to compete with that last person. She gets at least
one shot to like try to make it through this leg.
All right, so this head-to-head is interesting. It's not super physical, like you're gonna get tired unless you did it like 5 times or something. But it takes a little bit of thought, and it's actually one that after you do it one time,
you get it.
You kind of figure it out, right?
Because you've ironed out the moves you need to make in the beginning, because it's like moving things and stacking them, and you just sort of learn the first probably 70% of it, because everybody is pretty close, so you figured out most of it, and then you just have to do that part again and figure out the end of it.
Right, and just do it a little bit quicker.
Exactly. So once you've done it once, it feels like you're gonna get it, and that's what happens, right?
That's what we see for sure. So Ty-Cor is there first, and Colin and Christy are there second.
Yes.
I would be scared to go against Colin. I just feel like he's the last person I want to compete against.
Yeah.
But Tyler.
Good old Tyler steps up.
Not Corey. Tyler's like, I got this.
Yeah.
And he did.
And it's just the storybook ending that we want for this episode,
I'm like,
and they get
Ty-Cor's first in Uganda.
Yes, I know. And they get like a, a moment on the mat with Phil to talk about the situation in Uganda and what it means to them. And what was so nice is they were saying like, look, the government may have a certain kind of policy, but we did not experience that from any of the locals, which I was really glad they included that because like, I would hate for all Ugandans to be judged based on this policy of the government. They just had the ending they deserved.
We know it's like that in every country.
Yeah.
The laws do not represent every single person.
Right.
And I'm glad that they expressed their experience positively.
Yeah.
In general, it's always nice to hear that, like, I had a great time. People are lovely.
People are nice. Yes.
But just that first place, they finally, they haven't had one yet.
Right. This was like the thing that they needed and that we were hoping. Like, we like Tyler and Corey a lot. So, to see them at the top of the pack is great from a story perspective for this episode and just from, like, a fan perspective because we love them.
Yes. And the fact that they beat Colin. I was like, what? So, of course, Colin's going to go a second time and figure it out.
He figures it out against Victor, so Colin and Christy are in second.
Chris and Brett show up, so Victor goes against Chris, but Victor wins, so they are third up to the mat. Then Chris and Brett actually
switch.
Yeah, so Brett tries it the second time, which was actually kind of risky because, again, you're going to get it even better the second time.
Yeah, but he does win.
But he goes up against Floyd. And Brett beats Floyd. So they are in 4th place.
Yeah.
Top 5 finish.
Right. Then Floyd goes up against, I believe it was Leo.
He does.
And he beats Leo. So Team Fun is next up. And then the Afghanimals decide to switch as well. And Jamal's like, I'll do it. Yeah. And at this moment, we're like, is this like foreshadowing?
Right.
Because it was a very clear, like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And it was like, are they going to mess it up?
He's not going to get it.
Yeah.
Jamal does beat Rachel.
Yes.
So that leaves us with the setup of the Rileys versus our other baby girls.
So Rileys have come from the detour. They've done the salty roll thing. Janelle and Brittany are at the salty roll. They finish. They realize it's a head-to-head. They have the moment of like, we still have a chance. They have to wait for us.
Yes.
And there had been a little bit at the beginning of the episode about how these two teams of Big Brother women like were happy to work together, and now it's like them against each other.
Yeah, they definitely get along. They're friends. They're all former BB, but now they're all moms. Yeah. They have a lot in common. Yeah. And so when they kind of see like, oh, it's us, that stinks.
And this is the moment that Brittany decides, I'm the one. It's my time. Finally. To win something for our team.
Brittany steps up to the plate, but it's a little late.
Too little, too late. So Rachel does beat Brittany. The Rileys are the last team to be declared safe for this leg, and of course they're not going to have two non-elimination legs in a row.
Yeah.
I can't even say non-elimination. I dislike it that much that I can't even say it.
Janelle and Brittany are eliminated, and I am just kind of peeved about it.
I know.
We were probably going to lose Janelle and Brittany on this leg, no matter what.
True. Yes.
That was a huge error on their part. Right. And they were going to be eliminated this leg.
Yeah.
We just wish it wasn't against the Riley sisters. Yeah. Such a bummer.
Yeah. Rachel Riley's an icon. She's still on the show. Mm-hmm. And the preview to next week, apparently she's stirring up some good drama for the Amazing Race.
I feel like she might be playing into a villain role this season.
Leaning into that. Yeah, for sure.
But that's fine for entertainment value. That's fine. I just questioned the motives behind the non-elimination leg on episode 5.
Yeah.
But my heart's really just broken because I lost Janelle and Brittany.
I know. But you predicted it in our last video. You said they were one of your top 3 teams to go next. We both thought Chris and Brett would for sure be out, but they are killing it now.
No, they're solid.
Fully in the race to win it.
Yeah.
Janelle and Brittany are gone, which is too bad.
We're so bummed about them. I'm glad they were on the race. Yeah, Janelle, she represents so much about fighting and making things happen for yourself. And I just love that about her and what she represents.
And the two of them together were saying, like, we wanted to show that, like, women can work together and do things well and have each other's backs. And I do think they showed that this season. Like,
sure, as long as one person's like, hey, you do it. And they go, okay.
That's a great working relationship. So
no, we're kidding. They do work well together. We enjoyed watching them, and we're sad that they're gone.
Yeah, we just saw a lot of potential in them. I'm sure a lot of you will say, like, look, Janelle and Brittany were never going to win. They kept finishing at the back of the pack, which is true.
It's true. This was just not their game show.
It just wasn't.
It was not their thing. Yeah. Put them back in the BB house, I guess.
Yeah. Right.
Put them in a family BB house with kids,
with their kids or something. Yeah, I guess. So like we said, next week we see Rachel stirring up the drama with Nicole specifically. We see
I know, that's
Nicole's
another BB
emotional.
team. Come on, back it up.
The race continues, and we'll see where it goes from here.
Yes. Please tell us what you think about that very early non-elimination leg.
Yeah, right.
Tell us what you think about losing Janelle and Brittany.
Yes, let us know what you think about everything, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.